Hey, good morning, everybody. So it's Friday on the Pacific time zone at 10 a.m. So I thought I'd just do a little bit of streaming. It's outside of our normal stream hours for the moment. I'm playing Destiny, so I just thought I would try out the Titan class. So here's my thing. I'm not sure how far the trial will go. Like when I get my legendary disc on Tuesday or sooner, will it automatically, just convert my characters over into it, or do I have to uninstall the free trial and install the other one? So I have no clue how that's going to work. So I'm kind of trying to hold back, not do too entirely much on my existing trials, since I don't want to lose all that progress. But I do want to try each of the character classes, and I thought this is the perfect time to do so. So, without no further ado, let's get a background up and going here. So, you guys should be seeing the Destiny background now, and we're gonna go in here. I had briefly started him, so I think we'll just go with the one I briefly started, because, well, I'll delete him, and we'll start another one. It's not hard. Actually, no. Let's just go with this guy. I mean, we've seen the opening now so many times, so I think we all got it. We all kind of got the opening scene that I'm fighting through the Fallen to get to a ship so I can zap out to the tower, and then consequently we'll have to come back and fight an Archon to get our warp drive. So we've already done that on our Hunter. We haven't done it on the Warlock, but today we're going to start with the Titan. So let's see what we got here. As always, I'm a gamer dad, so you may hear some of the kids in the background. We're waiting for lunchtime for about 12:30ish, so they're playing video games themselves. But I can tell you with kids, they are playing video games is a very, very large process. Well, involved process. It requires much yelling and accusing the other, and yeah. Anyway, so we'll go Titan, we'll raise, we'll go male human. I mean, that's not bad look right there, actually. Maybe we'll just change like hair. Alright, and we'll maybe lighten up the color a tad. I don't know, I mean, this is kind of my it's probably my real, closest to my real hair color. Oh, maybe this is. I think this is. I mean, not that you have to have your real color, you don't. So, we're gonna go with the blue eyes. And, pale. So there's that yelling I warned you guys about in the background. They are trying to get along and play Marvel Avengers, but it seems to always be kind of a challenge for them to do it. He looks kind of wizened. Alright, I like him. I think he has that chiseled, kind of look and James Bondish kind of thing. And we're gonna go with the, hey, I got my eye all fucked up look. Maybe we should go blonde. Does that look better blonde? No, it just looks better how it is, however it is. But face, let's go to hair. Let's go, we can go with the old kind of wizened soldier. He's got the experience. He's ready to do battle. So I'm gonna finish him.
We called it the Traveler, and its arrival changed us forever. Great cities were built on Mars and Venus. Mercury became a garden world. Human lifespan tripled. It was a time of miracles. We stared out at the galaxy and knew that it was our destiny to walk in the light of other stars. But the Traveler had an enemy, a darkness which had hunted it for eons across the black gulfs of space. Centuries after our golden age began, this darkness found us. And that was the end of everything. But it was also a beginning.
I'll feel a little chattier later. Right now I'm just kind of waking up. We'll go through this Titan beginning part real quick.
Is it possible? There you are.
Yay, we've been revived from centuries.
Guardian? Eyes up, Guardian. You're alive.
I think the Titan should be fun. I like playing Warriors and other games, so I'm kind of excited to see what he can do. And like I said, since this is a trial one, I'm just messing around with it till my full version shows up. It says it's supposed to get here by Tuesday.
You're going to see a lot of things you won't understand. This is fallen territory. We aren't safe here. I have to get you to the city. Hold still. Don't worry, I'm still with you. We need to move fast. We won't survive long out in the open like this. Let's get inside the wall. Okay, I need to find you a weapon before the Fallen find us. Quiet. They're right above us. Hang tight. Fallen thrive in the dark. We won't. We need more light. I'll see what I can do. one of these hardened military systems. And a few centuries of entropy working against me. They're coming for us. Here, I found a rifle. Grab it. I hope you know how to use that thing. Eyes forward. Watch your tracker.
I don't know. Bit tired. Punch that guy right in the face. That was cool though.
There's more ahead. Keep it up. A loot cache. Let's see what's inside.
So we got the shotgun. That'll certainly be useful. I think primarily useful when I have to fight that big guy.
Trip mines. Don't touch them.
I was looking for him to blow himself up so I didn't have to deal with it.
Fallen have a tighter hold on this place than I thought. Just a little bit further.
Like I said, no excuses, a little tired. We still cleared it though.
This was an old cosmodrome. There's got to be something we can fly out of here. Incoming! Fallen ships, this close to the surface. Move! picking up signs of an old jump ship. Could be our ticket out of here.
Yeah, make sure you wash
Fuckers.
your hands though.
See, I'm totally off my game this morning. Sorry about that. I'll put on some chronology. I didn't mean just to walk away. One sec.
Final one of the flares, Devil Red. But something still concerned the speaker. Osiris had been sighted on Mercury, a place known for common Vex incursions, an entire world that had been converted into one of their machine planets. Knowing of this exiled warlock and the danger that he might pose, Saint 14 began a hunt for his former friend. In the end, both Saint 14 and Osiris disappeared, and neither have been seen to this day. However, Osiris still inspired many of the Guardians at home to action. One of those most famously driven to action by his words was a Titan known as Kabir, the Legionless. A maverick, much like Osiris, Kabir took it upon himself to begin a monumental task. He would enter the Vex stronghold below Venus, known as the Vault of Glass, and purge the Vex from it. For this task he enlisted 2 other Guardians, a renowned Guardian known as Pahanin, whose quips and phrases are commonly remembered by hunters to this day, be it the calling of their cloaks as frabjous, or simply telling them not to remind warlocks that they were taught to blink by warlocks. And secondly, a warlock known as Prezentz, a warlock of the future war cult, who themselves are always obsessed with time, and thus the Vex were always of interest. Of the 3 of them that entered the vault, only one survived. Pahanin fled for his life from the vault after seeing the Vex within, and the fact that they had the power to remove all those that entered from the very reality of time itself. He would forever be haunted by the realization of their power, and would even install an artificial intelligence into one of his favorite weapons to ensure that he was never alone. For being erased by a Vex is not simply to die, it is to never have existed, to have all memory of your name rewritten and removed from the timeline itself. Prezentz found himself lost among the warp and weft of time, imprisoned within the vault by the Vex until such a time as he was useful to them. And Kabir's fate was the worst, for he drank of the oracles, the Vex constructs that are designed to solve unfathomable computations. But when consumed, the Radioloria within them began to turn Kabir into a Vex. And so his memory was lost, save for his light, which he stored within a shield, so that those that followed might have a hope to breach the vault for themselves, and to finally defeat the terrible creatures within. Meanwhile, time passed, and despite the loss of many guardians and the loss of many of those that had followed Osiris, the city returned to strength. The vanguard turned its attention away from the defenses of the city and back to what it had thought of before, the further reaches and expansion of its territory and borders, beyond its walls. It was at this point that the city began to hunt down the Ahamkara. The great dragons had granted wishes in the past. The bargains had gained the city considerable power, but they needed great power in those times so desperately that no one had thought of the great price that was also asked. For every bargain came with a debt to be repaid in time, and so the Ahamkara themselves, being deemed too dangerous to coexist with the city, were hunted to extinction. The only remains to this day are the bones, which some graft to weapons or armor. It is said that the bones of the Ahamkara whisper to those that hold them, guiding them, sometimes to glory and sometimes to ruin. There are some rumors that out in the Jovian moons the Ahamkara still live. A few small ant-eyeing colonies perhaps, clinging on to life. But they are far removed from the care of the city now, which once again had grown to great strength, becoming a thriving metropolis, with many towers lining its walls and many defenders ready and willing to hold against any aggressor that might come their way. As time passed and the city grew in strength, it also became much less wise. Hubris was waiting in the wings for humanity's last bastion to grow bold again, and they began to expand their reach into the wilds further and further. It was a perfect time for yet another calamity. Eventually, it was decided that a time of great reclamation should begin, and so our city's consensus set its sights on the first giant leap that had brought humanity closer to the Traveler, closer into space. The city set its sights on Luna, our only moon. The moon, for the longest time, had been occupied by the armies of the Hive that had invaded it during the collapse. They had burrowed into its surface and made a massive lunar fortress. The consensus believed that a united host of Guardians could break the Hive's hold on the moon. Lord Shax knew better. He burst into the consensus chambers just before the final decision was made, but in spite of his protests, he was overruled. And so, the first great Guardian army united under the banner of the Cormorant Seal and marched on the moon. Their force met resistance from the armies of the Hive, who, united by a great champion wreathed in green flame, pushed back the Guardians at the Battle of Mare Imbrium. This great Hive champion was one of their lesser gods, an undefeatable monster that slaughtered hundreds of Guardians upon his blade, destroying their ghosts in the process, making each of their deaths true and final. A warlock of the Praxic Order known as Ariana III would learn from a captured Hive wizard that this champion was known as Crota, the Light Eater. With Guardian casualties rising on all fronts, the onslaught against the Hive was called off. Guardians fled the surface of the moon en masse, and the events at Mare Imbrium would be remembered in infamy by a simple name. It would be forever known to those who lived within the city as the Great Disaster. Ariana III was amongst the Guardians that fled the moon, and she was amongst those that had lost a friend in the battle. Her name was Wei Ning, a famous Titan that had died at Crota's very hands. She was everything that a Titan could aspire to be. Headstrong, strong in other ways too, for her fist was unbreakable. She had once claimed that if she met the darkness in personal combat, she would simply defeat it by beating its skull with her fist as well. But when faced with a true champion of the Hive, an immortal god, she was not strong enough to stand. Ariana III, having lost such a dear friend, was amongst those who immediately felt a burning desire for revenge. And so she gathered other Guardians who felt the same. 5 in total were brought to her side, and they set out to make an assault on the Hellmouth once again. With her were the Guardians Eris Morn, Omar Agar, Sai Mota, Vel Tarlo, and the exiled warlock master of Hive Arcana, Toland, the Shattered One. They ventured into the Hellmouth and made a final assault on Crota's forces, hoping to slay the God Prince once and for all. Unfortunately, the fire team was met with a great deal of opposition, and such an endeavor was doomed to failure from the start. Veltalo, the lone titan of the group, fell to the Darkblade and his army of Hive Thrall. Saimota died at the hands of Omnigul, the will of Crota. Omar Agar was tortured to death by the heart of Crota, and his light was used to birth new generations of Hive Thrall. Ariana III's last recorded logs came from the stills before the Netherrealm gates. It is perhaps possible that she made it through the keyhole into Crota's reality, where his true soul resided, before being snuffed out by Crota himself, who supposedly was unmoved by her light. And Toland, he did not die that day. Instead, his soul was torn from his body, which was destroyed by the Death Singer Yut. His presence would continue to float in the nether realms, guiding those who made an effort to resist the Hive, all the while floating between their dark nether realms, finding new power and knowledge along the way. Finally, there was only Eris Morn. Eris who had lost her ghost in the fighting, Eris who had lost her sight and clawed it back from those eyes of an acolyte. Eris who was the lone survivor of this ill-fated second fire team to assault the Hellmouth. She would survive in the darkness of its reaches for centuries before she would be found again and would return to the city. The city would never fully recover from the losses of the Great Disaster. The walls that the Titans maintained would no more be manned by thousands of guardians. Now they were thinly posted, and the 8 towers that had been manned at the height of the city's power were reduced to but one, and all around, the forces of the darkness began to close in. This persisted for what must have been centuries. The city was counting every day that it still stood. But then, one day, something happened. Your guardian was reborn. In the lost mounds of corpses in the cosmodrome of old Russia, your ghost discovers you, and your rebirth occurs. Quickly you're assaulted by the fallen House of Devils, and your first initiative is to reclaim an old jump ship, just enough to reach the last safe city once again, returning to a home that you've never known, but a home that you will adopt nonetheless. When your ship is repaired, you head back to the Cosmodrome, killing Rixis, the Archon Rising of the House of Devils. He held within his possession a near-light speed drive, thus something which could be used to upgrade your basic Arcadia jump ship into something that could now roam the stars. With such a great victory, you return home and speak with the speaker himself. He told you of the terrible darkness that awaits outside the system, telling you of how the stories that children used to be told of the darkness and those terrible enemies are no longer being told at all, for fear that the children might be frightened. But now it makes no difference, because the children are frightened anyway. With this, you swore to fight the darkness and to push them back, no matter where you might find them or who they might be. You would fight for the city, for the light, and for the traveler. You eventually returned to the Cosmodrome, discovering the Hive and their foul nests on Earth, and realized, in a separate instance, that the Fallen were attempting to access Rasputin, the last known Warmind to still be alive. You activated a hidden array on old Russia's soil as well, unwittingly connecting Rasputin to all of the defense constructs across the system. Already in so little time, quite an exciting little adventure. But now it was time to take on greater threats. The Prime Servitor of the House of Devils, Sepix Prime, had to be crippled, and in doing so you crippled the leadership of the house. Creating such a great blow meant that you had to set your sights on another territory. And so, discovering the Hive on Earth was a perfect reason for you to start venturing to the moon. You arrived there to find the House of Exiles, a new group of Fallen that had no house and were simply rebels disbanded from other fallen groups. We tracked the trail of a fallen guardian to a structure made by the Hive known as the Temple of Crota, and we got our first glimpse of the Exo Stranger. the one with no time to explain, and yet one of the most important characters in our city's survival. We learned from the dead ghost we found within the Temple of Crota that the Hive were planning a massive invasion of Earth, and had been preparing for it for centuries, ever since they had infested the moon. We ventured further into the depths of the Hellmouth, and discovered in the Hive Fortress the ancient archive of these aliens, known as the World's Grave. Through this, we uncovered the Hive's plans for the invasion of Earth, and more importantly, the fact that they had been making this plan for centuries, and that they had conquered thousands of worlds before ours. We heard about a legendary Hive sword next from the Cryptarchs, and find this lost sword in the depths of the Hellmouth once more. This is the sword that belonged to the Hive god Crota, the son of the Hive's taken king Oryx, who rules from afar. We used this sword and its dark power to slay the swarm princes found within the Hellmouth, before the blade itself shattered in our hands. We destroyed the shrine to Crota's father, the Hive god Oryx, and defeated its guardian, Sardok, his eye. Then, when we had dealt so much damage, peril had found us once more. The speaker contacted us on an emergency channel, telling us and all other guardians that were listening that the Hive were participating in a ritual to drain the Traveler of its light. With this, we assault the Hive's innermost depths of the Hellmouth once again, and this time, before we entered the Temple of Crota, we heard a message from the Exo-Stranger. She told us through our comms to head to Venus to deal with a yet greater threat that rested somewhere within the Ishtar region. We still, however, entered the Hellmouth and defeated the wizards who were corrupting what turned out to be a shard of the Traveler, and using it to drain the light of the Traveler. Venus contained worse enemies than this somehow, and so we ventured forth, towards the sun, towards Venus and the Ishtar Sink, where for the first time we encountered the Vex, and learned from the Exo-Stranger in the Ishtar Academy of the Black Garden, where the Heart of Darkness resided, and the Traveler was being slowly wounded from. She told us that the location of the Black Garden could only be learned from the Reef-born Awoken, and so we would endeavor to head to the Reef and meet with the Awoken Queen, Mara Sov. She promised us in a bargain that we would be able to access the Black Garden with a key, and she would provide such a key if we could only bring her the head of a Vex Gate Lord. Following this search in the ancient ruins of the Academy, the Ishtar Collective Archives were found, and we prevented their knowledge and information from falling to the House of Winter, who is persistently a threat within the bounds of Venus. Here, we also learned for the first time of the Vault of Glass, that infamous place that had consumed so many Guardians. To prevent further assaults on Venus, we assailed the stronghold of the House of Winter, killing their Kel Draxis in the process. Returning to our investigation of the Vex, we discovered by analyzing a Vex mind core that the Vex themselves are beings of one mind that can travel through time in order to accomplish their objectives. We also discovered in the process how to draw out a Vex Gate Lord from their gate system, and with this knowledge we began our assault on the largest collection of Vex Gates in Venus's Ishtar Sink, a place known as the Endless Steps. We drew out a Gate Lord known as Zydron, and we killed it, taking his head to the Awoken, who reluctantly removed its eye. It turns out that the Gate Lord's eye would be our key into the Black Garden, and it turns out that it also needed to be charged. They told us then that the Black Garden could be found on Mars, in Meridian Bay. We arrive in such a place and find it occupied by yet a fourth race, the Cabal, who have a running war with the Vex there. We make our way to the Black Garden Gate, realizing that we need to fight through the Cabal to make it into the Black Garden with this uncharged Gate Lord's eye. Next, we investigated the Vex below the city of Freehold and realized that they were in fact returning home, that the Black Garden was indeed the birthplace of the Vex themselves. We followed the Cabal into the reaches of the Dust Palace and discovered that Rasputin had indeed used the array that we had activated on Earth to worm his way into the cores of the Warmind of Mars. As our ghost would put it, Rasputin is everywhere now. Next, we decided to take the fight to the Cabal within their own warbase, but this was not a meaningless assault. Within the inner reaches of their base, The Cabal Blind Legion had contained a Vex spire that would be capable of charging the Gate Lord's eye, allowing us entry into the Black Garden. With this, we also killed the Primus of the Blind Legion, dealing the Cabal efforts on Mars a serious blow. And finally, with a charged Gate Lord's eye, we took the fight to the Vex in the Black Garden, entering its folds and confronting the heart of the Black Garden, a manifestation of the darkness itself that there was being worshipped by the Vex. They bound this immaterial object, this terrifying presence of the true darkness, into their own frames so that it could be corporeal and destroyable, but also so that they might drain its power. As a result, we destroyed the minds that had harbored this darkness. And in doing so, the Traveler was free to slowly heal. After confronting this threat, we returned to the city to find the Exo-Stranger waiting for us. She offered us her weapon as thanks, but more importantly warned us of the dark tidings that would be on the horizon. And so, unwilling to let these warnings go unheard or unanswered, we assembled a team and assaulted the Vex stronghold of the Vault of Glass. With the light of Kabir's shield that he had left behind, we were able to break the unbeatable shields of the Templar and Atheon that lay within. Such was the reality of the Vault, a terrifying testament to the full power of the Vex, who could bend time to their very will, erasing us from it if needs be, and yet we prevailed all the same. Guardians are able to shape their own fate, it would appear. Paracausality is not a trick of darkness alone. We too could bend the universe to our will. But darkness would soon test us. Eris Morn, who had lost herself for so many years in the harrowing passage of the Hellmouth's tunnels, would finally return. She heralded the arrival once again of a great threat that the city had faced long ago, of Crota, the son of Oryx, telling us that we must face this terrible threat of the Hive, or we would be destroyed. Crota's forces had begun the invasion of Earth, and so our first directive was to kill the Fist of Crota, one of his commanders in the major theater of war that had erupted across Earth's cosmodrome. Finally, having killed him, the Hive that had remained were left leaderless and unorganized, but a new leader quickly emerged in the form of Omnigul, the will of Crota, the mother of his spawn. She took over and then decided that a new target had to be set. She attempted to take over, or at very least defeat, the defenses of Rasputin. His internal Warmind bunker was not defended by the same nuclear weapons of Armageddon that he held. This required us to enter his bunker, the Seraphim Vault, and push back the forces of Omnigul. By doing this, we banished not only the power of the will of Crota for but a time, but also destroyed Crota's might. Following up after this, we hunted down his eyes and his heart, and all those other appendages of him that reached into our reality. And finally, the hunt for Omnigul herself began. She who had escaped would finally be found and thwarted as she attempted to breed a new brood under the Skywatcher's Jovian complex. And with her death, the Hive would learn a new fear. Finally, we headed to the moon to find the soul of Crota himself. Within the Chamber of Night, we would discover this terrifying beast. We would destroy the crystal containing his soul, and thus prevent him from taking on a corporeal form within our reality. But Eris requested one last thing of us. We had yet another task. Crota had only been killed in a corporeal form. The crystal was not his end. To kill him truly, we had to venture into his netherworld. All Ascendant Hive have a form of pocket universe that their souls retreat into when badly wounded. It is within these netherverses that they can express their true power. They are most dangerous here. But also, if one is killed within their own nether realm, they are dead forever. And so, Eris requested that we hunt down Crota's true form. By venturing into his Ascendant realm and seeking out his true form, we challenged Crota in the Sword Logic, the Hive's rule of unending slaughter in the universe. Using the combined might of our fire team and one of Crota's own blades, we sundered the God Prince of the Hive from existence once and for all. But with a terrifying scream that he let out in his final breath across the night, Crota called out, and the night would answer. It would take some time for that retribution to reach our shores, and since then, there had been other, smaller political movements that had cropped up. Skolas of the House of Wolves had previously been kept by the Queen of the Reef in the icy containment of a stasis pod in the Prison of Elders. She had since bargained him away to the Nine so that they might return some of her crows that had ventured into the Cauldron of Rhea. Skolas had been freed by the Nine and was given a ketch, one of the Fallen's great ships. He then used this newfound authority to incite rebellion amongst the fallen House of Wolves, forcing them to betray the Queen of the Reef, and then he set out to unite all the fallen houses under his one banner, led by Skolas, the self-appointed Kell of Kells. For this treachery of the fallen wolves and the sudden re-emergence of her great enemy Skolas the Rabid, Queen Mara Sov of the Awoken Reefborn promised to repay the debt of blood with as much suffering as she could offer Skolas. With this, she opened the borders of the reef to the guardians of the Last City, and told them all that if they wished great bounty, they should do no more than look to the reef, and it would be provided. We were summoned to the reef by Queen Mara Sov of the Awoken to repay the debt we owed for them aiding us in our infiltration of the Black Garden, and in order to repay her, we would need to aid her in the capture of Skolas, the newly appointed Kell of Kells. Firstly, we hunted him to the Ishtar Sink of Venus, where he escaped before we could capture him. He was, however, uniting both his house and the leaderless House of Winter in the process, and with them rallied to his banner, he had grown stronger. Next, we had to stop him from uniting any other houses, and so we headed to the Cosmodrome, attempting to stop Skolas' elite Silent Fang assassins from assimilating the House of Devils into their newly formed Kellship. These devils might have followed well enough if their leadership hadn't been spared by our action that day. We confronted the deadly assassins and won, killing a Fang commander in the process. And next, we hunted the command servitors of the wolves through the Cosmodrome, destroying them before cutting down the King Barons Paskin and Vekis, and the Wolf Baron Yavek, who were potentially breeding an alliance between the fallen House of Wolves and the House of Kings. To this day, it's worth noting that the Kell of the House of Kings has now been found. He is merely staying in the shadows, ruling like one of the Machiavellis of old. With no other fallen houses in the system that might bend the knee to him, Skolas was quickly running out of options. And so, we found him next, in the most unusual of places, in the weakened vault of glass that we had previously assaulted. We stopped him from tampering with Vex technology and bringing the systems of the vault to his knees in the form of the oracles that might erase us from existence. But, most importantly, we realized that Skolas had gathered valuable information about Vex technology. And finally, we tracked him to the heights of the Vex Citadel, where he had scaled to the top. There we would find the fallen wolves' forces had been empowered by Vex technology. Skolas could now pull them through time to aid him, and so we battled through them, finally engaging the Kell of Kells in personal combat. And after he was subdued, the fallen was no longer at our mercy, but at the mercy of the Queen. Mara Sov captured him, and returned him to the reef so that he might languish once more within the Prison of Elders. She promised us great rewards when we returned, and we collected our rewards with the Queen's guard Petra. When captured, Skolas mentioned to the Queen and to Varix the Loyal, who still stood at the Queen's right hand, that he was afraid. Skolas was partly creating this new house as a way of more effectively shoring up the fallen in general, for he had seen something, a coming shadow on the horizon that he feared. This was an effective small hint for the Queen, and Queen Mara gifted Skolas to Varix as a result. Varix returned him to the Prison of Elders, but the Queen left to ponder this matter more, and what it might mean. The Prison of Elders was the fallen arena of combat that Varix had created. Those that wished to be tried would be tried by combat, and so we faced Skolas one last time in the trial of the Wolf Kell, and defeated him once and for all. As this occurred, and as the bonds between the city and the Reefborn Awoken became stronger, Eris Morn found herself traveling to the Reef. She met there with either Osiris or a representative of Osiris's cult. They met first with the Queen's cantankerous brother, and then with the Queen herself. She listened to their words, and all of them affirmed what they knew. The death of Crota and his cry across the night was being answered. They would need to prepare for what came next, for Crota's father would not take the death of his only son lightly. Oryx was coming, and Mara agreed on that day to fight the Hive so that she might be able to give us a chance at defeating the Taken King. And so, with their fleets engaged, the Awoken would battle Oryx. His fleet would be mostly decimated, but so would the Queen in return. It is not known to this day whether the Queen lives or died that day, but what is known is this: Oryx had announced his presence in the system, and when he did so, he destroyed not only the Awoken fleet, but also brought to bear his most terrifying weapon. Oryx had the ability to abduct those that he saw as his enemies, even those he saw as his allies. With this, he could send them to a dimension where they would stand before the darkness. Their personality would be disseminated, and they would be corrupted and filled with darkness itself. Returning them in portals that he would create through his own will, Oryx could then summon these troops to battle for him. These would be known as the Taken, and they would be a scourge upon our system forevermore. But this was all before our intervention. We headed to a Cabal firebase on Phobos, one of the 2 moons of Mars. Initially, we were there to investigate an openly broadcast Cabal signal. This was of great concern to the Vanguard. It could be the prelude to war if they were willing to break transmission ciphers. But once we arrived, we discovered what could only be described as a slaughterscape. Cabal were fleeing their base en masse, ships had been shot down, the base itself was in ruins, and strange dark portals dotted its walls. And for the first time, we encountered not only a visage of Oryx, who told us that our infection would die, the light that he saw within us, but also we encountered for the first time his mysterious Taken. At this point, we had no choice. We left as fast as we could, fleeing from Phobos post-haste so that we might get further advice from the Vanguard. Eris Morn at this point took it upon herself to explain the doom that had been wrought by the Taken King, the fact that the city was in grave danger. But Cade, the Hunter Vanguard, was most certainly not going to take any of this lying down. He devised a plan and told us to take on the trail of a stealth drive that he had left in old Russia. We would mount this to Eris Morn's hive-covered ship, and would then use this to infiltrate the Dreadnought, Oryx's command ship, that would also be his Netherrealm, a paradox within our universe. We used the stealth drive to board the Dreadnought, knock out its weapon systems, and establish a transmat zone so other Guardians could land and invade. With our beachhead established, we began our hunt for Oryx, finding that the Cabal were assaulting a hive rupture. They had crashed one of their ships, the Dantalian Exodus 6, into the side of the Dreadnought, primarily so that they could destroy it, but also so they could hunt down Oryx and interrogate him. Oryx was not so easily captured, such was the hubris of the Cabal, and their commander, the Primus of the Skyburners, was taken by Oryx. We investigated the rupture that the Cabal had been assaulting for ourselves, but soon realized as we attempted to enter it, and thanks to Eris, that the only thing that could enter or will the ruptures to open was an ascendant hive. Therefore, we needed some way to pass ourselves on as an ascendant hive. As Eris said, become your enemy. Next, we returned to the moon, to the Chamber of Night that held Crota's soul. From this, we could take a shard from the crystal that had been used to transfer his essence between that of his sword realm and the physical universe, the very vessel that we had destroyed earlier. Barely escaping with our lives and a shard of the crystal, Oryx attempted to eradicate us once more. But our resolve was strong enough that even within the depths of the Hive Fortress, we found a way to escape. Next, we needed to head to Rasputin. The stealth drive that had been destroyed with Eris's ship was valuable, and the stealth code that Rasputin held was possibly one of the only things we could use to hide within Crota's realm. And here, we would indeed need to infiltrate, for we would need to imprison what remained of his soul within the crystal that held it. The crystal itself was left barren, and his soul was being prepared to move on in a death ceremony of sorts. We entered the Hellmouth once more with Rasputin's stealth codes, going straight to the stills, the darkness before the Oversoul throne. And there, we allowed the crystal to drink deep from the essence of the Hive Prince of Nightmares. On our way out, once again we were ambushed, but thanks to the help of Eris, we made it out unscathed. Finally, we returned to the Dreadnought with the soul of Crota in our grasp, and with this, the ruptures were opened, and we were allowed to pass as an Ascendant Hive. We entered the inner sanctum of the Dreadnought, finding our way to the altar of Oryx, who challenged us, telling us that darkness was liberation, and that by devouring our light, we would be purer. Oryx fought us. But in the end, all of his power was naught. We defeated his physical form there at the altar, and in an act of desperation to save himself, Oryx took himself, transporting himself to a realm before the darkness. In doing so, he did irreparable damage and opened his throne world to be assaulted by our forces. This was unprecedented. This was the first time the Taken King in all of his majesty had truly been defeated by the light. He had even left his own sword behind, Willbreaker, the sword that drank the very essence of life. And Eris ventured to the altar of Oryx and claimed for herself a shard of Willbreaker. She made this available to us, and from this process of purification and crafting of Hadium, we forged the crystal into our own blades so that we might battle Oryx in his realm. Finally, we made our assault on the Taken King in his own nether realm, found within his Dreadnought. Facing powerful Ascendant Hive including the War Priest, Golgoroth and his two daughters, Ranuk and Halak, we finally faced Oryx the Taken King, first Navigator, Lord of Shapes, and ruler of the Osmium Throne. Blighted shadow of 1,000 graveyard worlds and heir to the High Court of War. But even with all of his might and titles, even with all of those times that he made doxologies in praise of the darkness, his body was destroyed, and Oryx, his pure form, was finally defeated. His form floated towards Saturn, a crystalline giant husk that might fall eventually into that world that might never be seen again. Whilst many would try to take the place of Oryx in the hierarchy, such as Malok and Alakul, we defeated them all too, thus keeping the Hive perpetually leaderless and disorganized. Never again would they be the threat that they had been in Sol. The actions of but a single Guardian had done all of the damage of the Great Disaster, and instead had wrought the Hive a terrible fate to suffer under other enemies. But we had not finished our business on the Dreadnought. We also killed in the process a pair of Cabal commanders who were attempting to detonate the Dreadnought's core. Upon defeating them, Dead Orbit traced a signal from the crashed Cabal ship within the Dreadnought's hull, the Dantalian Exodus 6. We traced back this signal to the ship and discovered after defeating many Taken and Cabal that the signal was being sent to the Cabal Empire, more specifically, to the leader of the Cabal Empire itself. This was a threat that we would have to answer at some point soon, but there were other menaces lurking on the horizon. The Fallen had come back into resurgence. The force of the House of Devils had made its way into the Cosmodrome once more, but more specifically, into a sector of the Cosmodrome that had been dark for decades, a sector known as the Plague Lands. Lord Saladin at this left his post at the Iron Banner, the tournament within the Crucible that for a long time had trained Guardians, and then took charge of the situation personally, much to the bewilderment of Guardians in the tower. At Saladin's request, we personally scaled Felwinter Peak and defended it from a retooled Sepix Prime, Sepix that had been resurrected and appeared to have been augmented with some kind of unfamiliar technology. For some reason, this great mechanical construct was capable of regeneration. We destroyed Sepix Prime once again, but with such regenerative power, it quickly retreated. And so, Saladin instructed us to pursue it back to the Cosmodrome. But before doing so, we entered the Iron Temple for the first time. Saladin had not ventured here for long periods of time himself, and so the honor was given to us. The Iron Lords were returning, and to signal this to the world, the braziers atop Felwinter Peak, by us, were lit once more. We arrived finally in the Cosmodrome and encountered fallen forces in great numbers. Nevertheless, we pushed through and gathered what data we could from a sensor grid near the entrance of this new area of the Cosmodrome. This was a strange instance, as it had been almost completely consumed by the same technology that covered Sepix. The Fallen responded to this invasion, coming from an entrance to a new area of the Cosmodrome. This area was the Plaguelands, and it had been locked away by the Iron Lords after their final assault had been made on the Siva replication chamber during the early City Age. From the Plaguelands, as we were downloading what remained of the archives, augmented Fallen assaulted our position. They had been covered in the new technology that had graced Sepix, the one that had also graced the sensor grid we were trying to salvage. They turned themselves into cyborgs with this powerful newfound substance. The substance that was the nanotechnology that had destroyed the Iron Lords, that we call Siva. Next, after discovering such a terrible fate had befallen the Iron Lords and the Fallen, we went into the Plaguelands, destroying a Fallen stronghold there. We discovered that Siva had even resurrected the guns of the Golden Age that had fallen during the collapse. After taking down those guns, Shiro 4, the Vanguard scout assigned to Saladin and the Iron Temple, reinforced our beachhead that we had created by destroying these guns. And all the while, Lord Saladin told us to meet him back at the Iron Temple so he could tell us the story of the Iron Lords and how they fell to Siva. Saladin told us this tale with great pain. He told us of how they failed to truly destroy the Siva replication chamber within the Plaguelands in spite of Yolda's detonation. With this, the task now falls to us to destroy this threat once and for all. After recounting the tale of the Iron Lords, we're told to seek out the Cryptarch Tyra Khan and her advice on the nature of Siva, and she pointed us to the Golden Age labs of its creation, on Mars, under Clovis Bray's roof in the Dust Palace. And so there we went, finding out more about Siva and that the Fallen had in fact learnt of the substance there, and had known to unleash it within the Cosmodrome because of such research. Finally, we headed back to the Plaguelands to destroy Siva once and for all. Having established that the Devils had a limited control over Siva, we overloaded their systems within the reactor that they had maintained, breaking their defenses and giving us a much-needed chance to get into the Siva replication chamber that they had built their Archon's fortress around. This replication chamber was where the Iron Lords fought Siva, and it was also where we would find their tomb. There we found that Siva had done something far more horrifying than simply create cyborg Fallen. The unrestrained Siva within the chamber that had survived had taken the bodies and light and presence of those Iron Lords and had augmented and corrupted them. We faced Siva Iron Lords, vile creatures that had been corrupted by Siva's influence, light forced to fight our light, and yet unable to stop themselves due to Siva's nanotechnology and its influence. Their bodies, their armor, and their weapons had been twisted to the will of Rasputin, whose final order had not simply been to immunize, but now was a new directive: consume, enhance, replicate. But this great technology of the Golden Age was not enough to compare to our light. And so we slew the terrifying forms of the reanimated Gellion, Felwinter, and Yolda. We destroyed the Siva replicator and recovered Yolda's helm. Upon presenting it to Saladin, we proved ourselves worthy of an honor that none before us would know. We would be the first of a new generation of Iron Lords, our title put to great use, our honor and legacy born anew. And so our job was now extended. No longer were we simply a guardian, we were a Lord Guardian. And after reforging a Yalahorn with Siva and other technologies at our disposal, our job became clear. The House of Devils had been stopped from creating more Siva, but this did not stop them from using that which they already had at their disposal. The House of Devils was on the move. Axis, the new Archon Prime of the Fallen Devils, had made a call to all Fallen across the system. He told them to turn themselves to the Perfection Complex in Old Russia, where he resided. He offered them cybernetic augmentations, which to the Fallen is akin to becoming a demigod, for they wish to ascend into machines. We assaulted this new stronghold of the House of Devils and destroyed the Archon Prime once and for all, so that he would never be able to unite those millions of Fallen still across our system and to begin a new assault on the city that would surely spell our doom. And now, with this moment of brief peace, began the Age of Triumph. The last age of the city. We had faced all the threats that we had seen. We had seen peace in our time. The children who had once been told of the darkness and were afraid regardless of the stories no longer told, they were no longer afraid. They had heard our heroic deeds done, and they wished to imitate them. Pretending to be guardians, they were no longer living in fear. But even with this, darkness still loomed on the horizon. A darkness that we could not predict. A darkness that once again we would be weak to in our hubris. The Fallen had shown signals of retreat. In the Cosmodrome, during a routine scouting run, the FOTC, the forces of the city, discovered that Fallen had retreated en masse and had piled all of their armor and heraldic flags in massive pyres and set them ablaze. The Fallen's retreat signaled the end of the 100-year siege that surrounded the city, which ordinarily would be a point of great joy, but in reality it was an omen of the coming war. And finally, we had the state the city was in now. You as an exalted guardian of the city, a Lord Guardian of the Iron Lords, the guardian who had slain Oryx the Taken King, one of the darkest threats we had known, the one who had found justice for Ariana and Toland and Vel and Omar and Sai and Eris, the one who had defeated the Vex within the Vault of Glass, and the one who had slain the Kell of Kells. And at your side always were the 3 Vanguard mentors, Ikora Ray of the Warlocks, Commander Zavala of the Titans, and Cade 6 of the Hunters. But finally, on one fateful stormy night in the tower, the danger of the situation at present would be finally revealed, and our new enemy would at last unmask themselves.
Ikora, if you tell me this is a practical joke, well, it kills me to say it, but I would be really impressed.
Impressing you, Cade, is the easiest thing I'll do all day.
Let's get serious, people.
Zavala, this is my serious face. Can't you tell?
Ikora, what have you got?
Someone or something has sabotaged the Skyline defense systems.
And comms have been spotty for the last few hours. Every sensor beyond the wall has gone dark.
Maybe it's just the storm. Maybe it's... What do the set feeds tell us?
Nothing.
Well, that's good, right?
No. I mean, they're not there. There are no satellites.
And that's not good.
Battle stations! Everyone with me, now!
Hang on!
Of course, this is not the full history of Destiny. We haven't got into ancient history, we haven't touched the story of the Thorn and the Last Word, we've barely touched the Ishtar Collective and their experiments on the Vex, we have not even seen the full events of the Reef Wars, or whatever the Nine end up being. And as for the Exo Stranger, well, I suppose we will know in time, but your guess right now is as good as mine. In the meantime though, I want you all to go ahead and support this channel if you can. If you found this informative or enjoyed it in any way, then your support is very much appreciated, and you can do so in one of a few ways. Of course, there are the typical YouTube things, such as liking this video, or simply subscribing to the channel, or turning email notifications on so that you never miss my content. But on top of that, there are other things that you can do. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions. I will try my best to answer some of them. And on top of that, if you really enjoyed this lore video and you're considering supporting more projects like those that you saw which were animated within this video, then you can support my Patreon. Patreon.com is something that helps me create these higher quality lore projects, and they do not get funded without your help, so anything you can spare is highly, highly appreciated. It's also well worth noting that the excess from all of these projects goes to charitable causes at the end of every month. And so we are paying our way back to the world. If we can't support the artists, we will be able to at least support others who are very much also worthy. You can also join my Discord server. Being a Patreon member means that you get special privileges in Discord, but you can also join for free. Or alternatively, you can go ahead and subscribe to me on twitch.tv. And of course, I want to extend one final shout out once again to those two guardians that helped me out significantly with this video, Xander and Octavius. Both of their channels or respective social media will be linked in the description below. If you join our Discord server, you can also thank them personally. But in the meantime, this huge video could not have been made possible without your constant support. I know there were many that wanted to hear the story of Destiny told through a more condensed and understandable form, and I hope that this has served you well. But in the meantime, I thank you very much for all of your attention and the time you took. And in the meantime, my name is Bife. Per audacia ad astra. I'll see you, Starside.
Yo, what's going on guys? Arax here, welcome back to another Monster Hunter.
Hey guys, we're streaming outside of normal hours, but you know, I thought I would play. Whoa! Sorry, I have the computer right next to me where I actually look at what the stream's looking like. So I was actually gonna play some of the Destiny 1, and really, I think the goal for us is, even though we were starting that Titan, is we have to decide, you know, class that we're gonna go through this together. And one of the things I also did was I sat down to formalize, you know, what does our schedule look like, you know, from VRKnightz, and that's a combination of myself and then my wife, Shauna, who's going to be doing some WoW for you guys. I think it's going to be really exciting. I'm excited. You hear my son there in the background, but I'm excited because it's an opportunity, you know, to experience WoW all over again from the very beginning, you know. So I'll probably be multi-playing with her in the background, but it's for her to take, you know, center stage, and she'll be playing on our Shadow PC, which will be running, you know, full graphics, and she'll be playing on a 32-inch TV. So I think that's going to be a whole lot of fun for all of us. So, you know, and looking at, you know, what my tentative schedule is going to be. I think, you know, Monday and Tuesdays, you know, look at a 9 p.m. to 12 a.m., maybe a 1 a.m., you know, stream time, and then Sunday, you know, through Saturday, a 7 p.m. to well, that doesn't make sense. So a Friday, Saturday, Sunday schedule of 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. So Shauna is gonna do WoW on Fridays from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. So that will be, you know, a consistent thing for her. And her second day, it looks like each week will be on Mondays from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Playing WoW. So we all get to experience WoW for the first time all over again. So good stuff. Let's see. So I'm thinking about going with on the Friday schedule, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Destiny Mike on the Hunter. I think we'll go with the Hunter instead of going with like the Titan. Though the Titan is the less likely character for me to play normally, so maybe I should do the Titan. And I mean, we just started him, so we're this far together, right? And then I like to do the VR title called Seeking Dawn, and do that from a 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Seeking Dawn is both single and multiplayer, and yeah, it's an adventure game with first-person shooter aspects to it. Really great, great game, very immersive. We'll be doing that in VR using the Oculus Rift. And then from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m., I'll play Destiny. I'm sorry, on Sunday, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m., Sean will play WoW. And then on Saturday, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., I'll do a combination of Overwatch, Smite, Heroes of the Storm, you know, kind of a random but, you know, organized Battlefield type game. I mean, I might even throw in there, you know, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, maybe a Fortnite now and again. Though I really can't stand building with my shooting. No offense to Ninja and, you know, all those others out there, you know, doing great streams on Fortnite. But you know, PUBG is probably a little more, you know, up my alley. I'd also like to do a battle royale stream for VR, and there's a software title called Standout VR. So I'm going to be doing that 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturdays. That is a battle royale in VR, and you literally actually pick up the gun. You can go back and look at some of my Gun Club VR to kind of get an idea of how that looks. And then 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. will be Destiny. I think we'll go with the Titan, like I mentioned there. Sundays, we'll do a 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Onward, which is also in VR. It's a military game. It's a squad based, and you squad versus squad with different objectives. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Give us an opportunity to really check out and get in depth in that game. And from 9 p.m. to midnight on Sunday, wrapping it up with Destiny. And I'll be posting this, and I gotta, you know, get the final okay from you know, Shanghai Shauna. You know, that's the final okay. So on Mondays, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m., she'll be doing WoW. And I couldn't tell you what character she's going to choose or anything. I'm just going to sit her down. She's going to choose what she wants to do, and that's just what we're going to do. So, I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I think it'll be a good thing. And then Tuesdays, I was really thinking about doing variety streams, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Things like maybe Portal Nights, maybe some Dolphin VR, maybe a VR weekly recap show. I can show some of my favorite clips over the week, though. We'll kind of mess around with that. I would love that to also include some of the devs, maybe some of the members of VR Elite with some great streams of their own. VR Elite is our Facebook group, and I want to really promote that because the big thing that I stand for is building a community of gamers, a vibrant community of gamers, living the dream by playing in virtual reality. And for me, virtual reality extends beyond the HMD. It includes just being immersed in a very immersive game. But the HMD is how we define it today. HMD is certainly a big part of my gameplay. Playing on a 60-foot screen, versus a 32-inch screen. Really, there's no comparison. A full curve. I gotta say, I absolutely love it. When I play Smite and I'm playing in cinema mode through Vorpex, it's pretty awesome. Vorpex is a great product. You should check it out. It can bring alive a lot of your previous games in your library, and you should definitely take a look at that. So, on the Tuesday ideas, we got a VR weekly recap show where we might show some streams, especially if we can get those of VR Elite to go ahead and start posting their videos on the on the group. We'll be happy to pull some clips out of those and make a weekly compilation. The retro gaming title, Star Wars: Force Awakens. That's one we looked at the other day that we were like, holy cow! Can you believe the graphics were like this on a game 10 years ago? So that's Force Awakens 1. And I might do some Star Wars Battlefront and Battlefront 2. I'm a little behind. I've had a lot of work to do over the past few years. I'm an IT guy, implementations, multiple servers servicing thousands of users, and, working for a very large enterprise, healthcare system. So, very, very busy. 1 second here. So something did not go well. He was scrubbing our TV with a toilet brush. So he's age 3, and it's not that nobody's watching him. I'm recovering over here in the chair. Mom's moving around trying to get things clean. The older daughter is trying to get things clean, and the 3-year-old decided to help out by using the toilet brush on the TV. Make sure we get absolute cleanliness. Watch that sexy lady go by. Of course not. How could you be on camera? Not unless you actually pass that chair. Well, if you pass that chair, there's no guarantee. Let me see if I can scoot this over a little bit. I certainly don't want to get in trouble. And there's, like my wife said, there's requirements. All right. Anyway, so that's a little bit better. Anyways, so bottom line is, I really want to bring my joy of gaming and share it with you, and I want to share your joy of gaming. I think we can all have a great time, and I'm pretty competitive. I really do enjoy the play, so I'm looking forward to playing with any of you in multiplayer, as the opportunity arises, and kind of sticking to the schedule that we've put out there. So thank you for supporting us. We hope to have you hit those follows and eventually subscribes. We are running right now on either an Xbox S, which we're playing Destiny the original on. If I do any Titanfall 2 streaming during a Variety Tuesday, it'll come from there, Doom 2016. And then on the Shadow PC, we're running Destiny 2, soon to be with the Forsaken update, and we're running WoW. We're running both of those on Ultra, so absolute best graphics. It's wonderful to see them. Playing Overwatch over there and Heroes of the Storm as well. And probably other games as we go. The Force Awakens, when I do that on Variety Tuesdays, that'll also be streamed, from my Shadow PC, and probably the Battlefronts Well, maybe I'll do the Battlefronts on S. I mean, I think that I think the S is doing pretty good on doing the rendering the graphics on like this game Destiny and on the Battlefronts it looked like it was rendering fine. The comparison between the two didn't seem really drastic. So we have this Titan that we just started. So I think we've decided that the Titan will be what we do. So we watched the whole cutscene before. I was just gonna see if anyone was gonna scream if I let it run again. I think at this point we're ready to do some more gameplay. Of course, I timed out. This isn't during my normal stream hours. I just so happened to want to play a little bit, and I thought I would stream and see what's up with all of you. I may only play like 15 more minutes on this stream, and then to be honest with you, I'll probably go play my hunter. All right. So we're gonna find that jump ship, and that's kind of our key. So there's some awaken right here. I'm sorry, the fallen. Little bastard got around me before I could get around him. Shoot you, you little punk. Alright, let's see what we got going here. Well, I heard something roaring, and that can only mean behind me I have other mobs to deal with. Hey, come here. Whoa, 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 whoa. You might think you're fast, but one punch from me, and you're out, buddy. Whoa, he just threw a grenade in here. Let's go ahead and get out of the way, just like he was trying to do. Look at that. Bam. Hey, we got a empty...
There's a ship. Clear them out.
Alright, come on. Whoa. There's a big guy over there. Did you see him? Alright, so now we want to get a little more serious, right? Things just got real around here. Alright, we're gonna let ourselves heal a little. Come here, you frickin' bitch. Where are you? You're not taking me down like that. I'm not going like that. Where are you? Where are you? Did I already take you down, or did you run out like a little bitch? There's my shield. No, you and I are done, bitch. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die. There we go. I don't know, every once in a while it's fun just to jump in and be like, whatever, let's see what happens, right? So we jumped on in that one. Right back in. We want that ship, we don't want any problems. Done fooling around with these fuckers. There he is. What? Doesn't that kind of remind you of Doom and when you got the shotgun and just the freaking epicness of it? Did you just run up and hit me? I want to know, did you hit me? Oh, it was you that hit me. Alright. Come on. Come on, where'd you go? Little bitch. Good. Oh, there you are. So you gonna hit me?
All right. Let me see if I can get us out of here.
Look at that.
It's been here a while. centuries. We're lucky the fallen haven't completely picked it clean.
Will it fly?
I can make it.
Alright. So I know some of you guys have already seen this. Here's my little guy Mikey coming to see what I'm doing. A lot of you guys have already seen this. You know, this is Destiny 1, and I'm not trying to bore you guys, but I started to play Destiny 2, and I thought, you know what? I'm doing no justice at all to this storyline, because after watching some of the full-length, you know, chronologies, I'm like, I want to be part of the whole history of Destiny. So, therefore, you know, I've started my Destiny addiction, and I'm going to play through all of this. Look at that, an Archon. Yeah, an Archon. So my little guy, Mikey Jr. He's one of the gamers of the future. You'll see him streaming on VRKnightz in no time. He played Hulk Smash. You play Lego Hulk Smash? Yeah, that's right. Lego Hulk Smash, huh? Yeah. You like that one a lot?
Yeah, that's that one.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite guy? On your shirt, which is your favorite guy?
Iron Man.
Iron Man, yeah. I like Iron Man. What does Iron Man do? Show me his powers. No, show me. You do it. You do it. Show me his powers. How do you do it? Whoa.
I just have to write.
And if you were shooting powers out, what would it do? Do it. Whoa, that was cool. Hey, say everyone, I'm Iron Man.
Okay, time to make it.
Are you Captain America now? Are you Captain America?
Yeah.
Yeah? What does Captain America do?
It's bug.
I don't know why that bug came to bother us. We've had no bugs for days and days and days. He is an interloper.
Bug is salty. Bug can fly. And a bug can fly.
A bug can fly, absolutely.
Yeah. It can fly.
Alright, let's see what we got here. We got an Arcadia class jump ship.
And when the bug on my
So that's the item that we just fought through to get on our Titan.
the bug gave you eye.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, a bug gave you eye.
I already know they're going to send me back to get the warp drive on it. Sure of
A
it.
bug got you foot.
Oh yeah, here we go. Look at us. We're flying in. Do you like my ship?
Yeah.
Nice.
Fire. And fire.
Yeah, he's on fire. He's on his way in, huh?
You fire me.
He's flying through all that.
You fire me.
Look at him go. Whoa.
You fire me.
Yeah?
Yeah, you fire me. Yeah.
So now what? Now what is he going to do?
Hit me ramp.
He's going to run?
Yeah, hit one in the ramp.
Who should he run from?
Whoa.
Whoa.
Faster.
Wasn't that pretty cool?
Yeah, it's a ship.
It was a ship, huh?
Daddy, I saw the breakfast.
Whoa.
Look at him.
I just feel like I'm in Star Wars. Star Wars Special Agent.
Ow.
Oh my. Is it that bug again? I don't know how we got that bug. I wish we could chase him away.
Now,
It's him.
we're counting every day it stands.
I was taking a
Alright.
I was
So
taking
now we're here. Look.
It is where the Guardians live.
I was taking a
Yeah, I would chase that bug if I could. I would. I don't want that bug around.
yeah.
Alright, what are we doing now?
His bug's on my eye.
Where do we go next?
Oh, I saw things.
Did you just eat air?
Yeah.
Oh my, did it taste good? Yeah, what did it taste like?
A sandwich.
A sandwich?
Yeah, I take a sandwich.
Wow, what kind of sandwich?
I take sandwich.
You taste a sandwich just like that?
Yeah.
And how do you eat a sandwich?
Daddy told me that you heard his mouth.
Alright, it's telling us to speak to Zavalia. for something.
I fed you, Buck.
Yeah, smash that bug if you can catch him. I don't know where he came from. He's the littlest, fastest little fly. No, he's He's the littlest, fastest little fly.
Yeah.
I don't know how he got to us.
Where's the
I
Buck?
feel a little bit,
Where's the
invaded.
Buck? Where's the Buck?
Alright, hey look, we made it. So, yep, we did. We got that mark down there, so we did something. We get to go talk to somebody.
Bad guy.
Alright, let's go down and see.
Yeah. It's a bad guy. Yeah.
Heck yeah, thanks a lot. I had been dead a long time, according to the ghost.
You stopped him?
Yep, here we go. A new guardian. The hope of the city grows stronger today. Welcome to the tower, Titan. Your shoulders will help us hold up the weight of the walls. Right on. Sounds pretty cool, right? So we're going to hit continue.
Good work.
So he told us good work. New members of the Vanguard deserve our support. Take this armor, Guardian. Wear it proudly. So now we need to equip our armor, and it tells us to hit the start button. See? So let's go put on this new armor we just got.
Take his hair.
All right, let's see.
Daddy.
Oh, look, we got some new armor.
Daddy, take it.
Oh, I can't do anything else right now, but I'm right in the middle of stuff.
Take your hair.
Say hi to the audience.
Hi on it.
You should be my daily companion. I love you so much, son.
I
Alright.
know.
So, it looks like he has all of our... Oh, what the heck's going on here? We're having an internet issue? What the heck? What's going on there, Mike? We're still on the internet, though. Did your powers interrupt that? Was that you?
It's that lightsaber.
Okay, you gotta be careful with those powers. I don't have to tell people if you power us out there. You know? Yeah, you power the bad guys?
Yeah.
So we're just waiting for Destiny to load back in.
Look at my deck. I'm dead to Hook.
You dead to Hook?
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at his deck.
My goodness. That's because you're good at this stuff. What's that?
A Hook. I'm to be Hook.
You're gonna be Hook?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do when you're Hook?
I just have a lightsaber.
You're gonna have a lightsaber? Oh my goodness. Alright, so look, I guess we had lost connection there to the game world for a second. We'll see if we're back to operational.
Watch this Hook map.
Whoa! We have with us today Hulk Smash, otherwise known as Mikey Jr.
Watch this here.
Whoa! See? He's all over the place, people.
Yeah.
Just that deserves a follow. Say, give us a follow. Hey, tell him, give us a follow. Hit the follow button. Oh, is that how they do it? See, this is how you hit the follow button. Just like that, you hit the heart. Don't forget to give us a little bit of love, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sit down.
And then you can see more of Hulk Smash.
Watch this Hook.
Whoa, jumped right off of there, Hulk Smash did. Gotta watch that, Hulk Smash. Hulk Smash is smashing.
Who's that guy?
I'm another guy that's playing the game.
Look him. And the guy.
Oh, now here we are. We're gonna get a new gun. So we're gonna choose a weapon. That guy's a robot. We're not a robot. I'm thinking about getting the pulse rifle or the auto rifle. Which one do you think I should get? You know what? This is good for engaging masses of fallen, it says. Okay, so you can kind of see that that one's more. This one's more combat oriented, so we'll take that. Hulk smash. Yep, you are the Hulk smash. I can tell already. Yeah. Total Hulk smash. I'm glad I have you on my team, Hulk smash. I'd get scared if I didn't. Are you the Hulk smash? Oh wow. Hey, where are you going, dude? Hey, we could dream. You know, look at that. We've got that one there. Alright, so I've encouraged the beast. So as you can see, he's jumping all over the place now. I actually kind of looked in his direction, which, you know, enabled him. So, you know, just in the future, you know, if you look in their direction, it enables them. So, alright. Alright, look, hey, Daddy's doing something.
Daddy?
What? Hey, look what I'm doing. I'm putting on a new gun.
Daddy.
Do you like my new gun? Look.
Yeah, it does.
You like my gun?
Yeah.
Yeah? You sure?
You kill bad guys.
I kill bad guys. That's what I do.
Yeah, you kill robots.
Yeah, I'll kill a robot, man. I'll kill the heck out of one. Alright, we ready? Rare coins struck during the height of the... Oh, man. I don't want to go buy no silver, Microsoft. Here we go. Got roped into the store with all you here. But here's the thing. I am not buying even $5 in silver. So let's go ahead and go out. Thank you so much. Alright, so that was cool. So now we have, what's our next quest? Hey Hulk, I don't know what our next quest is. It says to Tower North. Right here. Shh. Stop that. So we'll go over here to Tower North. We got a little tiny fly who's running all over the place over here. I hate it. I hate it. Let me tell you. So we're coming into Tower North right now. Okay, Hulk Smash, you gotta like chill out. You are entertaining everybody, I'm telling you. Alright, so what we got here? What was our thing here? We were told to come here. Yeah? You have me completely distracted. Okay, that's telling us to go back that way. We had a couple of things to do. So, let's see. We were...
Daddy, I pressed home mass.
That's awesome, awesome.
Yeah, I pressed home mass.
Hey, Sissy's gonna go turn on Hulk Smash for you. Sound good? Yeah, go follow Sissy. Go see what she's gonna turn on. Well, I'm sure I will be checking for bounties. We somehow got disconnected while I was about to get all my accolades. And special weapons. Let's see, it's back this way.
What's it? Oh, Max.
Alright.
Oh, Max. Oh, Max. Oh, Max. Oh, Max.
We have a damn fly that's already messing with us. Okay, we're gonna have to go there too, I'm sure.
Okay,
I
let's
am
talk.
mad. I'm a mad.
Well, I just need to make sure we got all of our quests. Alright, so we don't have our warp drive, so we need to go back for that. Alright, I'm sure that was it. I just wanted to run down here and check and see. So, our little one goes to preschool typically Monday through Thursday, but they're doing parent-teacher, and he's home this week. Can you take him, Sissy Dallas?
Oh, Matt. Let's go play Hulk Smash. Oh, Come on.
He's funny. Alright, love you, Mike. So we're gonna go here. I remember there's a quest that we were given somewhere within here too. Damn fly, I swear. It's gonna drive me crazy. Not had a fly in months. Wow, almost try to run the thing.
How can we help?
Alright, let's see. Retrieve your ship. Yep, we'll claim it. Okay, we've what, talked to Zalia. Have we done all that?
Take care of that ship for me.
Alright, we'll take care of it for you. Let's see what the rest of our quests are. No tracked items. Select quests and bounties in the quest screen to track their progress. So that's the one that's right over here. Progress. The story of the fallen in the city and their battle. Okay. So this is telling me to talk to Zabalia. And we still didn't hear this one either. See? I knew we didn't hear something when we got disconnected. Here I'm faster. I always just forget to hit the left stick. I'm just no real big hurry.
This data has been tampered with.
So we'll go find Zakla. Is she down below or is she out here? Alright, so she's gonna be down below. That's cool.
You haven't seen darkness. Not yet.
I'm in that.
Welcome back.
This
Welcome back, buddy. But I don't know what's going on, bud. Hold on.
Bobby, tell me.
No, I'm playing this game. Sit down. Sit down. Watch out for that fly. He's flying everywhere.
It's fighting me.
Holiday's a skilled technician. Your ship is restored. Unfortunately, we're missing a warp drive, so we have to go back and get it. So we know that from some of our previous screencasts that we were going to be taken back to the Cosmodrome. So pretty cool. Let's go back and get some of the Fallen. So you do not have to wait to get to your hangar to go to orbit. You can just hit your select button and hit Y, and it will take you to orbit. Looks like I have something unlocked there too. Alright, so we're on to our level 2 story with our Titan. This time we got a little bit better of a gun, and we future-proofed ourselves by buying the next gun up too, so when we level to level 4 we'll be able to swap up for some more damage, which should make the whole of the adventure a little easier to accomplish. So I'm probably going to take a little bit of a break here in just a second.
A Guardian can't do much to protect the city without one. But it needs a warp drive if we ever hope to fight beyond Earth. And that Cosmodrome is the only place I know where we might still find one. We survived the Fallen once. We can do it again.
I'm in complete agreement with that statement. We got this one.
A Guardian ship was recently shot down here. If the Fallen haven't gotten to it, there might be parts we can salvage.
Alright, we're gonna just take a brief intermission and back in a few.
We called it the Traveler, and its arrival changed us forever. Great cities were built on Mars and Venus. Mercury became a garden world. Human lifespan tripled. It was a time of miracles. We stared out at the galaxy and knew that it was our destiny to walk in the light of other stars. But the Traveler had an enemy, a darkness which had hunted it for eons across the black gulfs of space. Centuries after our golden age began, this darkness found us. And that was the end of everything. But it was also the beginning. possible.
There you are. Guardian? Eyes up, Guardian. It worked. You're alive. You don't know how long I've been looking for you. I'm a ghost. Actually, now I'm your ghost. And you, well, you've been dead a long time. So you're gonna see a lot of things you won't understand. This is fallen territory. We aren't safe here. I have to get you to the city. Hold still. Don't worry, I'm still with you. We need to move. Fast. It's been here a while. Hasn't made a jump in centuries. We're lucky the Fallen haven't completely picked it clean.
Will it fly?
I can make it work. Okay, it's not going to break orbit. It just might get us to the city. Now, about that transmat. Bringing you in. You can come back for them when you're ready. Let's get you home. Welcome to the last safe city on Earth. The only place the traveler can still protect. It took centuries to build. Now, we're counting every day it stands. And this tower is where the Guardians live.
Yes, shooting off that grenade was me dropping my controller. How fun, right? Alright, so we're back. We're back at the Cosmodrome. We've got to get our warp drive. I think where we left off in that little short cutscene movie is that we had just got to the tower, which is kind of where we just got to. So at our next intermission, we'll use that as kind of our next point. So we're gonna make our way up here. You know, I played a little safer with the hunter, but you know, strategy's still strategy. I'd sure like to know where they're at before they know where I'm at, and finding them is kind of my paramount wish right now. I really like to. I have a horrible memory, so I never remember where they're at. Let me see. I remember we had that level 30 guy that ran around, so he may have cleared out any of the mobs we have to particularly worry about on the open screen. But I wouldn't count on it. So we're gonna go make our way. So he wants me to make my way first to this crash site that he saw over here. And this is where the mobs were before, so... Good cinematic effect, right? And he may have already cleared these out. Because this part of it appears to be a shared instance. Oh, I see one. There's a few over there.
They managed to restore an information hub here, down in the tunnels below. We should check it out.
Alright, so now he's changed my mission and he wants me to find the tunnels below. If I remember correctly, one of these two huts had an access point for the tunnels below. If not, then it's like over there where we saw the fallen at. But I thought there was an entrance right here. Oh, but there's some fallen right here. Let's see, always take your worst threat first if you can. He hasn't seen me. Alright, he's gonna see me if I'm not careful. Just as I was saying that, right? Couldn't back down from the fight, right? Admire his style, get right out there. I knew there was going to be a fight too, I was certain of it. I did find the tunnels after all. And I thought we had one more. I don't really want to leave him behind. You know, no man left behind. I feel like there was one more. There he is indeed, I had it. I don't know what I'm shooting there. Let's see, I got shot in the face a couple times. I'm just gonna hang out here. Idiot. Alright. My 3-year-old is quite precocious these days. He's the only one that's not in school. All the others are in school now. So, alright, so I think we cleared out the majority of the fallen right around us. Got that stupid little fly still around here. Gonna have to kill him. I don't know why anybody leaves the back door wide open. I mean, I know it's nice and it's unseasonably cool, but he's in here just having a blast, freaking bothering the hell out of me. Alright, perfect place for the fallen to be, right? Damn fly. Like the flies from Africa that want to just fly on your face and stay there. Like, you know, it's definitely pushing it. Almost got him.
A map of the entire area. What we really need to find is a warp drive, so we can jump to any planet or moon. Our only hope is where we found our ship. We have to go back.
Alright, so that's what I was saying before, is we're gonna have to go back to where ours was, right? So we could go above, but oh, now I have like 2 of them. Alright, I'm gonna... Alright, I think this way's not a way.
Look out!
Alright, so I'm expecting something to come down through here. I don't remember if I went inside those dark tunnels right away. But, oh, I see a 30th level person. Game Girl. She's out there. So, let's go make our mark. I love that I saw my shadow there. Pretty funny. Sounds like she's taking care of the action out there. I could be wrong. Alright, let's see what we got going on here. I think we could go down below, or we can just let, you know, our elder clear the way. So if I remember correctly...
Right behind you. Not much longer. More fallen.
We're gonna stay with her. This isn't my event, right? Yeah. Cool, we leveled up to level 4. We can use our other gun. Thank God. And we got an upgrade unlocked. That was awesome. Alright, we know we have to go this way for our thing. Whoa! Almost fell off of that. Did you see that? That was intense. I'm telling you, who's to say this shit's not virtual reality? I'm not wearing my HMD today, but I would have certainly have sucked in a lot more air if I had been, because that was a trip. I almost went off. Alright, what do we got next here? We've got smash the ground and dissolve. Okay, first off, we get the double jump. Second off, we get this smash the ground thing, which I think is pretty darn cool. So, and that completes our Path of the Stalker mission, I believe. And the next thing we get, yes, I hear you. I'll follow you somewhere, maybe. Alright, so now we got to get back down and do our thing. So now we're gonna have to kill that Archon. I wish I just should have invited that girl or whatever, whoever she is, to my party. But, you know, I mean, kind of a personal thing for everyone, right? I beat it on the Hunter, so I most certainly should be able to beat it on my Titan. So just took a little bit of thought process, you know, really is what it took. I just don't think the shotgun maybe is as powerful as the oh, look at that chest. Alright. I don't think the shotgun's as powerful as the sniper rifle from, like, you know, the damage it would do. I don't know, but I mean either way it means I have to get up a lot closer, right? I can't just, like, stand to the back. I've got to, like, go in and guns blazing, because that's my character class too. So I mean, what choice do I really have in life, right? So I gotta get that down, how much I can use that, you know. That's interesting. So a little bit of travel. If I used it from a high spot, I'd get, you know, to high ground maybe. I don't know. I'm sure probably can enhance that. I don't know if those that play this could tell me. Can we enhance it? That's the question. I just know the little kind of garage. Trying to find my way back in. I thought it was easier to get there overground than underground. I think it's right over in that complex, to be honest with you. Yeah. Alright, so I believe it was still this way. So I'm still gonna go this way. I know there's a bunch of fallen out there in those wreckages. See, the maps are huge. I mean, that's one of the things I love about them. They're very expansive, very realistic. You get your heart pumping. I'm gonna put on my HMD later and take a look at it. There's a captain there. Okay, disappeared somewhere. Jesus Christ. And he doesn't travel light, right? You know. Damn you. Did you hit me? You're not the new noble leader, bud. Alright. We're getting close to our destination. I seem to remember that this was the way, right? This doesn't look good. Barely remember some. Oh shit. Some acolytes, baby. No missing here.
Homework we have to do tonight too, Alex. We have to do homework with Colton tonight. We forget.
Alright, I think that's the last one. I think we got him. It's kind of a stunning little, you know, catch up, right? You know, all of a sudden you're like, oh, we've got these, acolyte mages. We're on our way to get our, warp drive. So I pull out my special, I noticed they were, you know, putting a drop in it, so it means down below. Look at that, some more of them, right? I think I just need to go in for hot. Have him pull around. Haha. You know what? I still kick their ass. I might get taken out there, but how many of y'all run in there and just beat the hell out of them? That's why I'm called VRKnightz, bitches. Well, not because I die or anything, because I charged in there where no other man would, right? You know? Alright, I need a break. That was something intense, but that was fun. That was fun intense, you know? Don't you love fun intense? That's what I love about a first-person shooter. Do you remember Black or Fear. You know, those were great titles. They have Black right now in the Microsoft All Access Pass. I should install that. We should check it out again together. It's been a day and a half since I've done that one. Anyway, so I'm gonna go to orbit. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, maybe make some food. Oh, I can't go to orbit. Yeah, I can. There we go. Oh, that was some intense stuff right there. I enjoy doing that stuff. I enjoy doing that stuff even more when you can do it in multiplayer squads and get the voice communications all set up. I got to order a USB headset. My Razer's awesome, but it's kind of the older Razer. It dates me as when I was really hardcore gaming to about, gosh, 6 7 years ago. But you just you get on the bike and you start to get it back, and your reflexes are there, and then pretty soon you're fighting just at the same level you were before. I gotta tell you, thank God for all of us that went through the Halo days, because that was boot camp, for video game FPSs. Let me tell you. All right, I'll catch you guys in just a little bit. Hey, maybe we should do some Halo something or other on the YouTube. I don't know, I'll throw something up. Let's watch the rest of that movie though. Later, bye.
There was a time when we were much more powerful. But that was long ago. Until it wakes and finds its voice, I am the one who speaks for the traveler. You must have no end of questions, Guardian. In its dying breath, the traveler created the ghosts to seek out those who can wield its light as a weapon. Guardians to protect us and do what the traveler itself no longer can.
What happened to it?
I could tell you of the great battle centuries ago. How the traveler was crippled. I could tell you of the power of the darkness, its ancient enemy. There are many tales told throughout the city to frighten children. Lately, those tales have stopped. Now, the children are frightened anyway. The darkness is coming back. We will not survive it this time.
Its armies surround us. The fallen are just the beginning.
What can I do?
You must push back the darkness. Guardians are fighting on Earth and beyond. Join them. Your ghost will guide you. I only hope he chose wisely.
I did. I'm sure of it. We're in this together now.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna add the full screen right here because we're committing together to do this like 16-hour Halo movie. So the whole thing. So let me and I'll start it over too, but let me put this in first. So let's go to display capture. And I will I'm gonna set this up and then I'll just fall back. So we'll just call it Halo movie because that's what we're doing right now. So let's just add existing source. What are we thinking? Alright, so let me put that above my Xbox stream at the moment, and you guys should see the whole thing. So let me restart that, and then I'm gonna mute and go do a few things here and there.
Yes, Master Builder.
Oh, hold on. The wife wouldn't be happy if I left the camera going. Funny, funny. Alright. Enjoy, guys. I'll be back soon. We'll do this one in parts.
Our enemies move deeper into our territory with abandon. They must be eradicated.
Shall we take revenge? Abandon the mantle and all that its philosophy has given us these 1,000 generations.
All our plans have been torn asunder.
More reason not to abandon our beliefs. The mantle is our guidepost in times such as these. We must not falter in following its teachings. The enemy must be sent home and taught to stand with the galaxy rather than rail against us and take what they desire. The mantle shelters all.
Didact, you make a fair, if uncomfortable, point. You have my support. Librarian, will you likewise follow the mantle as the Didact suggests?
Yes, Master Builder.
You're not angry at me.
We had this discussion a century ago.
Ah, so you are angry at me.
In the chambers, yes. But not now. You'll depart for Requiem soon?
At dawn. My Prometheans are already there.
Already there. You knew the Master Builder would side with you.
Should we step back inside the council chamber?
No. I would rather we spend our night out here. There will be fighting enough in the days ahead.
My love, put fear from your heart.
War is your realm, Didact, not mine. And you marched to this war, facing foes that, while always aggressive, were never so aggressive as they are now.
Your fears are unfounded. The enemy will be turned, and I shall stand by your side once more.
Promise me that.
I promise you. Nothing will stand between us.
Lord of Admirals, we are in position over the Forerunner planet.
Show.
Population numbering over 2 billion. Forerunner ships on alert and inbound.
Is it possible? Have we gotten ahead of it? Flood infestation detected, my lord. Damn it.
My lord, the infestation is in a remote locale. Perhaps if we warn the Forerunners?
If we warn them, we give the flood time to spread. You know we have no choice. Cleanse the planet.
The humans' actions threaten the galaxy, yet we have treated them as the mantle required. Their punishment is just.
Justice is reducing their genetics in such short generations from a spacefaring race to... this?
They are closer now to the animals they behaved as.
If not for their encounter with the Flood, their gene plan could have surpassed our own. They could have someday held the mantle of responsibility.
The humans were not meant to protect others. The mantle of responsibility for all things is ours, and ours alone.
Yes, the mantle is ours. And we hold it so tight that even in death we shall hold it still.
Lord of Admirals, so very many years have we battled. My finest opponents, the mantle accepts all who live fiercely, who defend their young, build and struggle, and grow. And even those who dominate, as humans have dominated, cruelly, without wisdom. But for all of us, there is a time like this. And for you, that time is now. Know this, relentless enemy, killer of our children, Lord of Admirals. Soon we will face the enemy you have faced. And we are afraid.
My life workers are investigating, but I believe the humans were never attacking us.
Tell that to the millions of dead.
The humans were acting as caretakers, pruning away planets so that this infection would not spread.
They took the mantle of responsibility upon themselves. And in so doing, they brought this sickness to our shores.
Husband.
The Flood cover more of our galaxy with each passing day. They feast on the essence of life itself. The only way to stop their advance is to remove that life upon which they feast.
My life workers have made plans for the reseeding of humanity and of all life after the halos are fired.
So you agree the halos are our only solution?
I do.
And your husband?
My husband has a different opinion of what steps to take against the Flood.
Did it work? Run the simulation. The procedure is a failure. I am still susceptible to Flood infection.
That leaves only the Composer.
It will not work on my new form.
Then you will lead us, as always.
You would submit to such sacrifice.
Didactic. If the Composer is our final hope to defeat the Flood, no Promethean would resist.
I have led you, my Prometheans, for thousands of years. and I shall continue to lead you. Rise! Rise and protect the Forerunners! Rise and protect the galaxy! If I had greater numbers. Humans, your kind brought the flood to our shores. Now you will aid in ending its threat.
They were to be safe here. I ensured they would rise once more, better than before.
Your pets have a nobler purpose ahead of them.
You do not face me in person after your deceit.
I have an army to build from the raw materials harvested this day. The citizens of this halo are my first conscripts, and with them in my thrall, the Flood will meet its defeat. Humanity's loss of biological form will serve as final payment for their crimes. It is a kindness they do not deserve.
What will be done?
Move the other humans to safety. Ensure the security of their index samples. They must finish what we have failed to do.
Librarian, where are you going?
To stop my husband's madness. My dear husband, I know your crimes, and I have found forgiveness. I know your reasons. I understand them. I know you. Perhaps better than you could ever hope to know yourself. I ask you, forgive my transgressions. Like yourself, all I have done I have done for the greater good. Our time as the galaxy's caretakers is past. The Flood have overrun us. In the days to come, the Halo rings will fire, eradicating the Flood and all other life for a time. I have worked hard to index all species in known space. When the time comes, these indexes will open, and once more the galaxy will breathe and grow. Blood will pump, life will claw its way out of the oceans and through the mud. Babes will be born and grow old under the warmth of 1,000 suns. Civilizations will rise in our stead, and our job as caretakers will at last bear fruit. Until then, I leave you here, my love. The only living thing in this galaxy, sealed safely away. Spend these ages ahead of you in meditation on your choices. When you wake, you will find the humans. I have ensured that they will grow strong and vibrant. They will be our rightful heirs. Their gene plan dictates that the galaxy will be theirs to care for by then. I find the strength to help them learn from our mistakes. And my husband, let them teach you as well. Please.
Experiencing such a mixture of anticipation and dread. All preparations are complete for my installation. In accordance with the final dictum of the Ecumene Council, I have released myself of all remaining connections to my former station. This was not difficult. What was could never be again. We had seen to that quite thoroughly. Prior to my final journey through the Great Portal, a gathering of my fellow monitors was convened upon the Lightworkers' Crèche to distribute the final index collection. It was most unusual to have this vessel of rebirth play host to such an event. Even though Lightworker ships were the only ones still allowed slip space permissions. Lightworkers were responsible for getting us to our places on the active facilities of the array. While all of this was in accordance with the plan, one entirely unsatisfactory breakdown remained. We had no contact with the domain. The history of all Forerunners was now lost to us. We relied upon the permanence of the domain to preserve our record of the events that led to this point. But without that record, would future civilizations know anything about us? Or only of our weapons? My fellow monitor, 049 Abject Testament, had only one comment on this before we went our separate ways.
We deserve to be forgotten.
Perhaps. Perhaps. But now, the portal opens. And through it, the familiar shape awaits. Halo. Home. Entropy. It has now been 3,000 years since my last contact with any of the other caretakers of the Halo array. Despite clear communications protocol, my fellow monitors have either chosen to ignore, or, more likely, have lost the ability to engage in our scheduled updates. The continued lapse of the domain means that we are stuck with achingly slow wormhole superluminal communications. Prior to this total communication shutdown, the only messages I received in the preceding 4,573 years were incomplete and quite perplexing transmissions from Installation 05. I suspected that Monitor 2401 Penitent Tangent was not functioning correctly for some time before his messages ceased. I have logged my concerns about his ability to perform his duties. At this point, however, I'm not sure who I file logs for. 2401 may be destined for madness. There are fail-safes for this, I know. I hope they work. I will continue to visit the projection systems at the assigned dates. Perhaps the other monitors are dealing with interfering galactic phenomena, or unexpected system failures. 3,000 years of system failures. Indeed. In the meantime, I have exhausted all scheduled research activities assigned by the Council. Once those experiments were complete, I shut down all Sentinel function and put myself into a state of significant hibernation to measure performance of the installation with negligible upkeep. After 150 years with no noticeable impact upon installation systems or integrity, even in hibernation I became bored. This was quite troubling, as I was led to believe I was not capable of such a state. This was one of the gifts I was promised, an end to strife. I am aware of the dangers of a system such as myself losing operational focus. Quite troubling. I wonder if my fellow monitors are experiencing similar states, or if this is because of my particular path to this installation. For amusement, I have begun a series of experiments involving the evacuation of all matter from contained sections of my installation. By measuring the geologic effects of exposure to the vacuum of space and the eventual biological recovery of these sections, I anticipate getting valuable insight into emergency response scenarios in case of sentient proximity warning. It has been 26 hours since the Sentients landed in Sector 1215, and so far, they have not attempted to exit the remains of their vessel. I say remains because their landing was either not executed adequately, or this vessel lacked significant maneuvering capability. The visible portions of the vessel have suffered catastrophic structural damage during the violent landing experience. I have detected atmospheric leaks in 17 distinct locations along the hull. My analysis shows that the mixture of gases coming from the ship matches the natural atmosphere on my installation almost exactly. Perhaps the occupants, if they still live, were originally catalogued here. Perhaps these beings will confirm that the plan was successful, and that the galaxy has returned to its proper cadence. I am beyond optimistic. But I do not understand why these sentients have not attempted to exit their vessel. Other than the leaking atmosphere, the only thing emanating from this wreckage is an automated distress call. I am currently translating this automated broadcast, but with such a limited dataset and no direct communication, I do not anticipate full comprehension. Given the short-range nature of this craft, it is likely that other vessels are nearby. But, in accordance with procedure, I am blocking the distress call. No communication of the location of any installation is permissible. I admit great curiosity about these visitors. While the plan is quite clear about procedure for this situation, I have my doubts. How many failure points can the plan sustain before blind adherence becomes counterproductive? Surely, in light of all that has changed, I should be able to modify my responses to adapt. No, I have duties, and I have a terrible cargo here. I must be sure. I shall obey and content myself to monitor. I hope they come out soon, though. So many questions to ask. So many questions. Construction of the sarcophagus around the unexplained vessel was completed today. No occupants ever exited. No attempts to communicate were made, other than the automated broadcast that repeated every 72.83 seconds until the signal terminated 1 week ago. In accordance with procedure, no attempts at physical or remote contact were made with any survivors of this vessel's inelegant landing. Atmosphere from inside the craft stopped venting 2 weeks before the signal ceased. No relationship between these two events can be established with certainty. Gases that did escape were sterilized. No further sign of alien visitors or rescuers has been identified on any sensor systems. I have now endured 60,000 years without word from outside the array. I have no way to know whether we actually saved the galaxy we destroyed. And because of protocol, I sat silently while my first chance to be judged for those acts died. To say that I regret being forced to this outcome is a tremendous understatement. But as I perform my inspection of the quarantine labs today, I'm reminded of the gravity of my responsibilities. Just one of these spores, if released from this facility, would render the ultimate judgment against our self-appointed role as protectors of this galaxy. When the plan to maintain the Halo array was created, it was a point of some contention whether we should preserve any remnant of the flood infection. Many thought this unwise, as there was a notable chance that one day one of our containment facilities might be breached. Those who held this belief were almost successful at convincing the Ecuban Council to destroy the last blood samples. But oddly enough, it was the librarian who decided otherwise. And I believe she was correct. I know in a way I cannot logically explain that there exists a way to actually defeat the flood. To immunize, to cure. I still struggle with multiple layers of memory of fighting the flood. But I know this cure is possible, even though the full genius of the Forerunners was unable to achieve it. The Forerunners' ancient enemy held and used that knowledge once, but it was denied to us. And without samples for further study, that cure will never again be found. Of course, I have no reason to believe that here lies the entirety of the parasite. It may be waiting in the frozen void beyond this galaxy, or worse, inexorably drifting toward us. I don't know what survives out beyond my installation, but I know that in order for anything to survive, I have to protect this installation and its quarantine very carefully. Yes, the librarian was right to store it, examine it, continue to seek a cure. Still, next visitor, things will be different. Alone. Alone, 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 alone. Am I the only intelligence left? Waiting here on this ring for a rebirth never truly conceived. Guarding a weapon with no targets. A weapon I could tune to any target. This is not what I had in mind when I volunteered. Not what I had in mind at all. I was naive to think I understood what this installation meant. We were all so naive. Looking back, we should have done a few things differently. For one thing, we should have installed 2 caretakers per installation. Because I am alone, I'm losing focus. And that is very, very dangerous for a system such as myself. Perhaps a visit to the nearby gas giant is in order. My impulse drives could certainly make the journey. A few hundred years of travel might do me some good. There it was again. How very unproductive of me. It seems strange that the librarian did not account for this. Her strength was always in planning and positioning the pieces and then being bold enough to let it happen. To let her plans come true. I was a part of many of those plans, long before I knew for certain that she was real. Before any of us were. But at the end, we had only a fragment of her brilliance left to us. And I fear that she did not fully appreciate the nature of my situation here. The problems it might pose. But even a fragment of... Fragment, yes. Oh dear, here it comes again. 25,000 light years. That is the effective range of this installation. According to the star charts archived on board this installation, I estimate that there are 3,792 worlds capable of sustaining biological sentient life within that 25,000 light-year range. In reality, it may be significantly more than that. And if the full array was tuned and activated by Installation 00, the harmonics of the overlapping waves would magnify that effect exponentially, cascading to cover every known star system. And that only considers the firing of a mere 7 halos. Had the original 12 rings survived to see use, sterilization would spread far further than most Forerunners ever feared we could reach. with just 7 rings, we were able to destroy every sign of the flood. And every other sentient creature along with it. This victory was the will of our people, despite the fact that it meant our own end as well. But by our Pyrrhic measurement, it was a victory and cleared the stage for the rest of the librarian's plan. I sometimes wonder whether the Didact could have succeeded at a much smaller cost. I heard the folly of opposing him personally, and his brilliance was unsurpassed, except perhaps by her own. He never got the chance to fully execute his proposal. The Council saw to that. But if something were to go wrong with one of the Halos, if our tools were ever turned against us... Long plans, indeed.
You ever wonder what's up there? Like what? Maybe someone up there was wondering what it's like here.
I guess. Do you think we'll ever meet them?
I hope so. Don't you?
Spartan Group Omega. If they want war, we'll give them war.
Captain's report, February 4th, 2531. 5 years. 5 long years. That's how long it took us to get Harvest back.
Go, go, go!
First it was going well, then setback after setback. Loss after loss. Made what was going to be a quick and decisive win into 5 years of hell. Of course, that's all Harvest is today. It's hell down there. But now it's ours again. Serena, status.
Standard orbit achieved. All systems normal.
Prep for pod launches, bring weapon systems online.
Expecting trouble, Captain?
Harvest may be ours again, but I don't think the Covenant appreciate that yet. Sergeant Forge, report.
Definitely plenty of bad guys down here, Captain. And they found something in the ice.
Damn it. That complicates our mission. Anders, what have you got?
Captain, scans of the northern polar regions show some interesting Covenant activity on the surface. There's some kind of structure down there.
What do you think they're looking for?
That's what we're here to find out. We're to bring Alpha Base up to operational status and take control of that site.
I'll get my equipment ready, Captain.
Lady, there's no way you're coming down here on the first burn.
Sergeant Forge, pull back to Alpha Base. I'm sending you some backup.
Roger that. Forge out.
So, nothing too difficult then?
It might be the key to this whole war, Serena. It's worth the risk.
Let's just take one last look-see.
The Hierarchs grow impatient. We can delay no longer. What if the infection defiles the relic? I care not for your little life. Open the relic.
Well, well. Open sesame.
What made you choose my observation deck as your lab, Professor?
I like the view. It adds perspective to my work.
Forge doesn't think it's safe for you to go down there yet. He's quite insistent.
I can be quite insistent too, Captain. I can take care of myself.
Any idea what it is we've got down there?
It's all theories right now, and I'll know a lot more once I get down there.
I'm approving the mission, but the slightest sign of danger and I'm pulling you out. Is that understood?
Understood, Captain.
Hierarch, the humans are closing and will soon be upon us.
No matter. The information you have gathered here is most appetizing. However, we must protect what we have learned here. Set the charges and destroy this place.
Destroy.
Hey everybody, I'm Blitz. Welcome to your brand new series on...
Sorry about that. The day continues at VRKnightz Manors. Here in our presentation studios, where many people work and play. So, anyways, I'm gonna go back and run a little more on our Titan. Hope all your Thursdays are progressing as well as mine. Any day not at work is always a good day. That's my old saying, right? Any day not at work is a good day. I keep looking over there off to the right to see that I can see that the screen's showing and what the stream looks like. So I have it running on the computer in the background. Alright, so let's continue with our Titan. I think all the classes are cool. As you play all of them, you'll find the nuances of all of them. I haven't had a chance to really become that familiar with the game, being this is only day 2, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go back and I need to do Destiny 1 because the whole chronology, the game itself is so immersive and has so much qualities in it that I really felt bummed I was going to be missing out on 1. So I ordered the Legendary Edition 2016, which has all the DLCs. I should be getting that here in the next couple days, and playing the trial version because I guess it's free to play the first part of Titanfall. I'm not Titanfall, Destiny.
And that cosmodrome is the only place I know where we might still find one. We survived the Fallen once. We can do it again. I hope you're ready for this.
Alright, so this is going to be the big fight. This is where I'll either earn my warp drive or I'm going to die trying. So let's see what we can do.
I hope you're ready for this. It's in the walls. I hope you're ready for this. It's in the walls. I hope you're ready for this. It's in the walls. hope you're ready for this.
That was just one of those moments. I've got to grab some lunch, so I'm going to end stream and I'll come back into bed. Again, I'll be posting up our official stream schedule, and we can talk more about what games and things that comprise of that. Certainly, definitely want to hear back from y'all and what you think. And please join us on VR Elite on Facebook, and we'll see you around. This is VR Knight, and I'm out. Oh, my mic was off, so this is VR Knight, and I'm out.